Hello and welcome to another exciting episode, although rare, of Token Games Reviews or Token Reviews. I'm your sometimes referee, the friendly tag partner, Zach Stat Pearson, and today I'm joined by he whose hands know no equal because he'd rather grab you than throw him, a one Pike.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
All right, so as if the title didn't give it away, today we're going to be talking about 2XKO. Now, 2XKO has been out for a little bit. However, I specifically chose Pike because of his long history with fighting games in general and his ability to know the difference between you're not doing better because of experience and learning how the matchups work. You're doing better because you are memorizing how not to lose and running off of instinct. That's the long way I can tell you something that's very, very short. And my unique background is, I believe I told Pike about this, it's a little bit annoying. Every fighting game I like, most of my friends do not, and every fighting game my friends like, I do not. Pike is one of the rare exceptions. Now, I have no background history with League of Legends other than realizing that it was the start of a whole entire sea of pretenders to the throne who wanted to do nothing but make, people addicted to giving them money. Because when the game is free, the consumer is the product. And Pike, I think you said you play League of Legends?
That is true. I do.
Okay. Well, you may know things or recognize things better than I will. However, Pike, I feel, still has a genuinely unbiased opinion, or rather is able to give one just because of his affinity or allergic reaction to shitty games. An allergy I also share. That being said, hey, I will kneecap your grades if you start fanboying, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. I don't think anybody even really knew that this game was going to be a thing. I believe when they first started working on this, you were a teenager, weren't you? Subtract 10 years.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
More or less.
And I'm a fucking middle-aged man. Jesus Christ. Don't get me wrong, though. I wasn't like waiting hand and foot on this game. I'd wait hand and foot on Vi, obviously, but that's another story. Anyways, so yeah, that's our history / background. I've been playing fighting games as far as I know since 1994. Didn't actually know what the fuck I was doing, or quote unquote, as the kids say, get good, until about 98. Quickly realizing that the ones I excel at and nobody else likes, and the ones that my friends like, I don't like. All right, so we're going to get into it real quick. First and foremost, the combat. Now, the combat in 2XKO is in a category that I like to call user-friendly, which can almost always guarantee you get a high score. However, obviously, you need a little bit more than that. User-friendly doesn't mean good, it just means ease of access. Ease of access does not immediately qualitate to quality. So, for me, when it comes to combat, I'm just going to go over the pros. As I mentioned, ease of access, meaning that you are not going to have to worry about hurting your hands or thumbs no matter what format of controller you choose to use with this game. The only one I can't speak for directly is keyboard. I think some part of me is just unable to comprehend the concept of playing a fighting game on a keyboard, a computer keyboard. Now, the other ones, the all button controllers, I don't mind. You actually can relax your hands a little bit more if you get the right one that's ergonomic for your body. But when it comes to a regular old computer keyboard, that was a format I just was not willing to try. So when I talk about this game, please assume I utilized an arcade stick, a regular game controller, a traditional gamepad, I should say, and I used a all buttons controller where even the directions are buttons. So when it comes to combat, the style is pretty simple. They use a 4-part layout and everything is a combination of pressing those 4 buttons, which is light, middle, hard when it comes to your traditional combos. However, your special attacks are relegated to shoulder buttons unless of course you remap them. So there's a special button a la Smash Bros, but instead of having 1, there's 2. And they work on basic directions. North, south, east, west, or true north, south, east, west, depending on who you ask. I thoroughly enjoy it. Because of that, it makes it easier to get people more interested because when it comes to fighting games, I think you know better than I do. One of the things that the fighting games is really good at is ostracizing potential players or making them feel like they should be punished for just not knowing things other people do. And I hate that. I believe I haven't really spoken about this, but I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, a pimp. People that like me, and the people that don't like me don't like me. But when it comes to gamers, particularly female fighting game players, I've had at least a dozen tell me they prefer to play or learn from me for the simple fact that certain words don't come out of my mouth, or while they're fighting and winning online, I'll get on the mic and make up a bunch of shit about them. Because you'd be surprised how many respectful people instantly stop being just that. Not because they're losing necessarily, but because they think the person they're playing doesn't have a penis. It fucking disgusts me. I've been saying stuff like this for the longest time. If you ever want to play video games and you are any kind of woman whatsoever, the worst ones are the ones, ironically, that have the most people, which is first-person shooters and fighting games. Well, fighting games don't have the most people, but they kind of kneecap their own selves, so it is what it is. Now, other than that, your button mixes do allow for assist. However, their format of assist is a hybrid mix of what you would expect in something like a Marvel vs. Capcom with highlighted sprinkles of Dead or Alive. Now, up until Dead or Alive 6, there was a tag mode in every single Dead or Alive except for the first one. And even though the idiots, and yeah, I said it, idiots over at Koei Tecmo don't seem to comprehend that people who play games offline will play that mode and have been playing that mode, and it's fun for a group of people, honestly, genuinely don't know what they had and they didn't appreciate it. Whereas 2XKO, aka Double Knockout, of which I will be referring to for the rest of this video, because Double Knockout is just a better goddamn title. Fight me. So they've done what I would have never dreamed of. They made it so your assist partner, if they're another person, can just come out, do whatever they want to temporarily, or they can control what assist of theirs they use. And if you, the current player on screen, tap your assist button when they're out, they're now the person who is the primary character, and your character will leave from the screen. That in and of itself is genius, because now you create a potentiality for people to learn ways to do combos or ways to utilize special features that the characters have that you normally would not be able to figure out, or that would take you an extreme level of memory via muscle memory and dexterity to pull off, but now you can have your partner do it. And you even get the option of foregoing this system. I believe one of them is called Juggernaut, but I don't remember what the other one is called. I think it's called Solo. Both of these formats, and correct me if I'm wrong, Pike, both of these formats allow you to have one character on screen, whoever the player 1 slot is, and the player 2 permanently stays in the background and cannot be on the screen permanently or switched out to. I don't think people understand how epic and dangerous that is at the same time. And I love it. I love it. Now, as far as cons, because you knew there had to be, when it comes to cons, ironically, the same thing. What if you have a partner who, once you switch to them, doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter how low their HP is, they stay out for as long as possible? I have run into that situation 30 fucking times. I decided to play at a friend's place because we knew how cool it would be to actually lab stuff like this in a co-op team fighter, like back in the day in Dead or Alive. A situation I'll probably never be able to do maybe more than 3 or 4 more times in my whole fucking life with this man, based on the distance that we live. And I'm getting some warm-ups in. He's seeing my style, learning how I play in real time while I'm next to me, pointing out things where I'm excelling, or maybe I'm not excelling in, or understanding how he can link up with my playstyle. And every single person, every single time, When I was using an assist that involved a second person, these people, if you can call them that, would not switch to me. They don't have a proper system to alert somebody if you're dealing with a selfish bastard. Let's call a spade a spade. They don't have a rage quitter alert system as well. The only way you know you've dealt with a rage quitter is after the match is over, you just see their little character avatar from the arcade disappear, not log out. And the last thing is, combos are long. But why is that a bad thing? Because they don't give the character a manual ability to reset the neutral, as in push the other opponent off so the match can be more balanced and fair. And that is sorely needed. The primary reason being because sometimes a character will figure out in real time a combo with their partner that they don't even know that can do damn near 80 to 90% damage. And your burst gauge can only work when you are in manual control, not a hit state. Did they not play Guilty Gear? Matter of fact, if they did the Guilty Gear shit, but they made it so it increases how fast it recovers based on how long the combo is going, it would have made more sense. Yes, it's noob friendly. Yes, the tutorials are good. They're actually good. But the biggest issue is that you don't have a way of alerting people, hey, this person you're playing with is not a good matchup for you if you're trying to be, a good partner. And they don't have a proper get off me or reset neutral function if you're in a combo that's too long, which you have no control over. Which is one of my biggest issues I told you I had with Tekken. There's too much reward for initiating a combo sometimes. And here, there's too much reward if people even have a genuine understanding of how the person that they're teamed up with functions. And I'm not gonna lie, yes, we did abuse this system. But we both acknowledged it left a bitter taste in our mouth when we would win, when at the start of a match, I hit somebody with light, and 15 seconds later, one of their characters only has like 80% health. Even I felt like, okay, this don't feel right. All right. Well, with that being said, though, I'm going to pass the mic over to you, Pike.
Okay, so we're doing the first category, combat, right?
Yeah, and I'm going to post my grade up now.
Okay, so my category on the combat, it's going to be, the combat seems like they like really fleshed out. Obviously, the game was developed by the company from the Cannon Brothers. They have a lot of history in the FGC, and they like cultivated rollback, and they got some other like great minds like Combo Fiend and other old school team fighter players to kind of work on the development team for the combat. And the gameplay feels pretty smooth, pretty fleshed out. It's a lot of defensive mechanics in the game, but I feel like you need a lot of defensive mechanics in a game like this, especially a tag fighter. But unfortunately, it doesn't have, like you said before, a way to actively, like get somebody off you, but not necessarily in a combo, like a barrier system or something like that. That's the only thing I would implement. The burst is fine. Fury, when you're using Juggernaut or what was it called, sidekick mode, the one character, one player mode, that's fine. Fury is a little, I want to say it's a little underwhelming because of the nature of the game and the neutral that you have to play to even use it. But then again, I play grapplers, so it's kind of hard to get in sometimes, but that's my plight. The roster size is, one would think it's lacking, but given the nature of the game and the fact that they're going to release free characters every, 5 characters every year, I can't really fault the developers for that, but especially because they're not charging us. But given the current roster and the diversity in the roster, it's not super diverse, but it's diverse enough to have interesting games and different play styles. I'm gonna give combat. I'm gonna give combat a. I'm gonna give a B plus too. Give combat a B plus.
Okay, I can't be mad at that. We have different reasoning, but we came to the same conclusion. There is room for improvement. And I think it goes without saying, just in the history of fighting games in the modern era, the 1.0 of a game is almost never in sync with the final version, except for maybe Soul Calibur 6. Under those rare situations, they patched a few moves and they added characters. Like, they kind of sort of had it right. All right, so moving on. Yes, Polyphia did make the promo track for Double Knockout. Okay, but that's not the only music. It's just the one everyone remembers. You will not be finding tracks that'll make you want to, do your daily or weekly exercise routine, make you, rolling in the car with the homies, pop this track in. They're mostly a very, very unmemorable. And I don't even think there's character themes, only stage themes. That being said, ain't too many people actually playing a fighting game for the music. We just happen to be very lucky in the 90s going into the 2000s with extremely high quality music in fighting games. So I won't say that fighting games have a ridiculous pedigree of good music. It's more like there is a genuine urge to try to make memorable tracks, which I think is cool. Don't get me wrong. But that mission and goal was not achieved. However, this is music plus sound effects. I'm gonna give it a C. When it comes to the combat sound effects, everything sounds almost too muffled. Like, they got the sound, it came out good, but they decided that the audio quality should be just a lot lower than expected. And for the record, I do have multiple sound systems. I did it through laptop speakers. I did it through wireless Bluetooth high-end speakers, not them Beats pill bullshits. And I did it through traditional TV system, which is how most people are going to play this game. There's a muffled effect, or the way it was just, exported into the game. It feels very compressed. Like I'm listening to an MP3 file of the sound effects when it should have been a wave, which is lossless. And now as far as pros, hey look, the sound is serviceable, they do sound unique. There is one memorable track, but the cons are almost equal. The sound effects sound like they are muffled from the combat sound effects specifically, and there's only one memorable track. All right, your turn. Hello?
Oh, sorry, I was push to talk. The only issue I have, because I really don't have a lot to say about the sound design. The only issue I have is some of the voice lines with moves are repeated like a lot. Echo says "my time" every time he uses his time stuff. So I'm gonna give it a C.
Yeah, it's possibly the only non-memorable thing about this game. All right. Online play. So a lot of what I said in combat, even though it ran a little long, kind of applies over here. The avatar system is cool. I'm not investing money in it though. Now, if it was a creative character who can use a mix and match of characters' moves and they have their own separate ranking system, yes, basically carbon copy Street Fighter 6, then I might be a little more interested. That would be downright fun. But we don't have that. So the online play basically consists of how can we monetize something for the player. Oh, and can we put them in an interesting lobby that basically makes them look like they're in a giant arcade. It's a weird grade for this one, because the presentation and what actually happens during gameplay have to be factored together, even though they're separate. The presentation is A+. Make no mistake, these are the type of lobbies I like. It basically is what I thought Marvel Tokens was going to be like, and to some extent it was. And also similar to the Dragon Ball Fighter Z lobby. Those are the type of lobbies I like. The only thing that's missing is custom play mode, but to be fair, there's no rule that says a fighting game has to give you a custom lobby play mode. We got lucky with Smash Bros. And we got lucky with Fighter Z. And Fighter Z didn't even add that till like year 3 or year 4. And again, the people you meet, you don't have to hear audio, so you can't necessarily hear somebody shitting on you. And also, it will be echoed because, 4 people. But also, there's no way for you to know when you're getting someone who is legitimately selfish when it comes to the tagging aspect. It is a genuine annoyance. So, with that being said, I'm gonna grade it on a curve, and I reluctantly, and I stress the term reluctantly, give it the grade of an A. Presentation is insane, but so is the monetization involved with doing anything on it. And on top of that, you have to roll the dice with whoever you play with unless you have a designated partner. And having a designated partner isn't always going to be a guarantee in, double knockout. Because you could have someone who wants to play with you, but that don't mean your schedules play together well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you, Pike.
Okay. All right. So I've been playing a lot of online lately for 2XKO. First and foremost, rollback is a must in the big 25. It should have been a must in the big 20, 2010, at the latest. But, companies are finally getting on, and the Cannon brothers pioneered the way. So obviously, they're going to have the best rollback in the business. GGPO is goated. Shout out. But the online's great. I'm not a super big lobby person, but that's kind of the only way you can play this game. Like, I'm not a customizable avatar type of guy. I'm an 09er from Street Fighter 6. I mean, not 6, Street Fighter 4. I'm an 09er, so I'm used to just, names and bars in a lobby, waiting your turn. That's what I'm used to. That's what I prefer. But I'm not upset at this. I don't really customize or anything, but the aesthetic is great. The interface in the game is like probably in my top 5, to be honest. I love the way the game looks. I love the art style, I love the animation, I love the hit stop. All that stuff like compiles into an online that you want to like stay in, or actually play people in, because it just looks really good. Gameplay wise, the balance and stuff like that does take a part in the online, and it seems as though they take a decent amount of time, outside of a few random bugs. They take a decent amount of time to really flesh out the balance of this game, which makes the online not as frustrating as some other games. Cough, cough, Tekken 8. Yeah, I'm gonna give online play in as a whole. The only detriment to it, which really doesn't even change my grade, but the only detriment to it is the smaller roster size for a tag game, but it's not small enough to be a problem for me. I'm going to give it an A.
Okay, my turn. So monetization is going to cover a lot of things. It's going to cover stages, characters, character skins, things that we didn't necessarily have a proper way to grade other than, character value. But to be fair, I think that pretty much everybody, barring one person, agrees that the base roster is a fucking problem. It's not a problem because they're terrible characters. The problem is the number. But that also ties into monetization. Okay, so for me, the monetization is a fucking nightmare. And it's not because, I think it costs too much. That's part of the reason. It's because they did my favorite, and by favorite I mean worst possible thing when it comes to purchases. They did the regular currency and premium currency shit. And only one of those currencies you can actually buy with physical fucking money. So you have to pay with time, or you have to pay with money, instead of being able to pay with one completely or the other completely. Now, that can make people more engaged with your game. I understand it. I get it. It's a business. That's not the problem. The problem is when it comes to the financial side of things and the time spent, how obscenely ridiculous it is. We all know that there are going to be some people who are going to maybe play this game for a week or two because they wanted to see something that reminded them of Arcane. If you do that, you're pretty much fucked. In order to get all the Arcane character skins, where the characters look like altered version of the season 2 Arcane characters, not season 1, by the way, you got to pay like 70 to 90 bucks. Oh, and my favorite one. One of the characters who has an Arcane theme skin, actually 2, if you count Vi, because Vi has 2 based from Arcane. One is like a what if situation, is not included in that bundle, and that's Warwick. So for those of you who saw the show, season 2, spoilers incoming, you've been warned. 5, 4, 3, 2. Warwick and pretty much anybody associated with, what was the disabled dude's name? The guy was on crutches. Victor. Victor becomes essentially a superhuman who's bent on unification, which he believes will create world peace. But in actuality, it created a hive mind. So one of the first people to be infected with this hive mind, or to stay infected, was Warwick. Everyone else was given, or at least some of the other characters were given skins that were essentially a what if they had got infected the same way Warwick did, with this, super sentient hive mind that creates peace, but it creates peace because there's no other minds with differentiation in opinions and abilities. So that is completely separate from that bundle. It's fucking insane. A skin on average should cost, or does cost, around 15 bucks. And as far as fight coins, not all of them are able to be gotten with fight coins. The avatars having a purchase system, again, this does not bother me. The problem is how much they want you to pay them for it. Your alternative currency basically means nothing because the amount of fights and success you have to do. Now, I don't have a direct calculation. I try to get a direct calculation, but to get the value equivalent of about $80 to $100 of premium currency, which is really just your actual debit card money converted onto a virtual prepay card, you're looking at close to 15 in-game hours. They don't even have 15 hours of shit for you to do in this game offline. You do the tutorial, okay. You do the character shit, okay. Based on how few characters there are, that's maybe 7 hours if you know what you're doing and you're competent on some level in fighting games. So there's a battle pass system. Well, you got to buy into that. But on top of that battle pass system, you have to meet certain criteria, and if memory serves, some of them may not even factor in to the character you want. The battle passes are not character based. They're weekly based or monthly based. I can't remember. It's fucking annoying. I believe they're calling it a soft launch or something. This game, Double Knockout, is projected to be on PC, PlayStation 5, all the Xboxes, and I don't know if it's going to be on the Switch too, but they heavily implied it. And right now, the only one that's out is the PC version and the PS5 version, if memory serves. Is that right, Pike?
Yes, sir.
So realistically, you could consider this game in an open beta phase, which I think is what they want most people to consider it in. But if that's the case, why the fuck is all this monetization shit even here then? You just told us it'll carry over, but how is it going to carry over if, say, I'm on the PS5, but I want to go over to the Switch 2 version? I'm still waiting on the Switch 2 version. This ain't a open beta. This is the full game. You just haven't finished error checking and bug testing and porting it and optimizing it for other game systems. But since the PS5 version was already done and you spent a decade, I'm guessing the higher ups told you, hey, look, you better put something out. I don't know, man, but the monetization for me gets a fucking D because it's a damn shame. I'm not telling them they shouldn't have done it. I already said that. What I'm saying is they did it the worst way possible. But also, this is Riot Games. I think that's the only way they know how to do shit, predatorily. And yes, That is a word. All right, your turn, man.
Okay, so really, I don't think. Well, okay, I like to preface everything I'm about to say with the fact that I paid $20 for two skins. I mean, not $20, $40 for two skins. I only have two skins in this game. Paid $40. Um,
That doesn't hurt you,
I,
like even a little.
oh, it hurts. I don't like it, mind you. I do not like this. But the $40, it's not like they were bad skins. You know, it's not like they weren't quality. Like I didn't get something good for my paycheck, but not paycheck, but my payment. But I'd rather not have paid that much money. Um,
For the sake of comparison, for those who don't play a lot of fighting games or they don't understand DLC when it comes to outfits, the statistical average cost for a new outfit in fighting games starting back at 2008 going into 2023, and it took me about 6 hours to try to get a statistical number that even seemed accurate, was around $7.99 USD, or under $8. Let that sink in. Under $8 was the average price for a new character skin or outfit in a fighting game. And one in this game is $20. That's all I wanted to say. Sorry.
no, that's fine. I really wasn't. I was trying not to. I was trying to actually fluff it up because I was just going to give it a D too. Because like, come on, bro! I spent $40 for two skins, and this game just came out. They had to change the monetization structure slightly. I don't know if you saw on Twitter. They had to. Somebody said, please make it so that you get to change the shop where you can buy, like you refresh the shop's items where you can buy skins and stuff. Change it from refreshing every 2 weeks to every 5 days, and they listened. But like, they were going to make it so you had to wait 2 weeks just to get get something on the character that you actually play, which is whatever. But like, I don't know. They should just let you like buy skins for an exorbitant amount of the in-game currency and not just real money, because you can buy everything else with in-game currency except actual skins. Now I
Totally
know,
agree.
right?
It's like they took everything that Street Fighter V got right after its like 1.0 version and said, you know what? How can we fuck this up?
Yeah, I agree. Like they had the blueprint, but whatever. Everybody's gonna bake their own cake. But if I gotta give it a D. Well, honestly, it's not like they're putting out bad stuff. They're just putting it out wrong, or not necessarily wrong. They're a business, and I already know Riot's business model. You should see the bills I racked up playing League of Legends for a couple years. Like I'm not an old League of Legends player. I'm not a new one, but you might have 4 years of me playing League. But um, you're getting good stuff. It's just I don't want to pay that much money for it. So that this $40 is, unless they give me actual the character Pike in the game, I'm not gonna pay that much for another skin. I'm not gonna pay no more for any more skins. Um, but yeah, you know what? I'll give it a C simply because I like the things that they're putting out, but it's just like too much for any reasonable person, any 9 to 5er to like drop 40 on it. It's a tag game too, so if you want one skin, you're probably gonna want skin for your other character. So that's 40 even right there. That's it.
Okay. And here's another one. Now, this isn't necessarily a grade, but this is something I don't know if it's something that can be fixed or if it's something Riot's going to care about. So like I said, I like the idea of playing with friends and people I know, because rare is the opportunity for me to do that in a fighting game, right? I got Dead or Alive 1 through 5, fuck 6. Then I got Soul Calibur 6, because everything before that is hard as fuck to even get a hold of, and I'm kind of kicking myself for selling some of them. See what else? So like Smash Bros. Well, that one's easy because it's Smash Bros. Everyone fucking loves Smash Bros. And that's basically it for me. Theoretically, I could get into City of the Wolves. Theoretically, I could get into City of the Wolves. That was new. So I went over to my friend Richard's place. Me and Richard are talking about, we don't really like the monetization, but the only thing we really can't stand is how small the roster is. Now, obviously, small rosters, so you'll eventually buy the characters. We don't even know how much a new character is going to cost yet. I don't even think they know. They're scared of pricing it. If they're smart, they'll make the characters cost like $4 or $5, and then the skins will still be $20. And that's a dumb thing to say, but it's probably what they'll do. But here's the thing, though. I was playing over there for about 4.5 hours, right? How the fuck is anything I did going to actually transfer over as far as my playtime and my win item money monetization currency, in-game currency? It doesn't. Or if there's a way to do it, they didn't explain it. So that means that if I want to make my time count with a friend in person, I would have to log in with a whole nother account on a whole different device. And even though we're in the same room, utilize the fucking internet instead of utilizing one system. Someone needs to fucking fix that. Because now it's almost like I feel like I'm being punished for not bringing a PS5 or my laptop and a portable monitor or something over there and playing with that, even though we're in the same fucking room sitting right next to each other. I bet you didn't even realize that because you never thought about it.
I did not.
This shit's crazy, man. I've never come across a game that could be so interesting and so fun and unique, but at the same time makes me think they're going to find a way to ruin this shit. I guess I give this game a C+. It is fun. It is fun to play. It is fun to play when you know what you're doing. It's fun to play when you don't know what you're doing. It's fun to play with your friends. And it's fun to play. I won't say it's fun to play without your friends. It is, but no one should be doing that, man. We don't get fighting games that do shit like this that often. And it has Vi. So unfortunately, due to certain erections that I can't control, I was genetically obligated to play this game.
Jesus.
Hey, look, Caitlin's not here, okay? Anyways, so as far as I'm concerned, I don't even know why they got two of her down here on the bottom. I know one's from the game and one's from the show, but still, like, why two? Honestly, I will tell people to play it, but figure out very early if you're comfortable enough with the monetization system. If you're not comfortable with it, leave before you make a stupid choice financially. If you are comfortable with it, get help, talk to a doctor. I'm literally dead ass in the middle. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but if I can find friends to play with, I'm probably gonna just stay playing with them and almost nothing else. With that being said, you got any closing statements, Pike?
No, I spoke my piece. I'm pretty sure.
With that being said, I give this game a C+. What about you?
I give it a B+.
All right. So yeah, please enjoy this free game when it is available on your system. And you can argue about if Double Knockout is a better title or not in the comments, which no one is actually going to do because we all know it's a better title than 2XKO. Text code. All right. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.